We're back again with another non-fungible Tuesday, this time on a Wednesday, and we're here to talk about the NFTs that have been going absolutely parabolic, holding gains, and in my opinion, the absolute best opportunities that I've seen in the crypto space. And they don't seem to really care about this quote-unquote bear market, about this lagging cycle that we're seeing right now, because as fees remain cheap on Ethereum, as we're not seeing multi-$100 gas fees, we're seeing once again the winter wonderland that is NFTs. And I do believe that the projects that carve out their users, that carve out their communities of diamond hands, those are going to thrive rain or shine. You're definitely going to want to watch this one front to back, because we're not only going through all of the biggest news in NFT land over the last few days, but we're also going to be giving you some new collections that I just aped that are hot off the presses. If you guys are excited for some absolutely cutting edge, brand new NFT alpha, then smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed or you're going to miss out on huge opportunities in the space. It's that simple. With that said, let's dive in. So first of all, like I said, this Elio trade site is coming along. It's going to come out very, very soon. We'll have more information on that in the near future. Let's just hop in right now. The biggest point I wanted to bring up here is that NFTs are looking like they're heating up while other things cool off. And given the state of the regulatory overhang on DeFi, I could see a whole lot of money jumping into both Bitcoin and NFTs as new stores of value, because nobody cashes out of crypto unless you're crazy. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what's been going on. First of all, we got Snoop Dogg coming into the metaverse in a big way, this time directly into the sandbox. We can see him voxelized right here, and this is a great partnership from Sandbox. Shout out to Sandbox, big fan of their team, and there is an announcement coming soon. I have some very, very interesting plans on how I plan to interact with the Sandbox. Elio Trades NFT holders, I'm looking at you. So among other premium NFT features for Snoop Dogg, there will be private party passes, which give owners access to exclusive NFT drops and private parties in the metaverse hosted by the one and only Snoop Dogg. And these are already going for a premium here, about, it looks like 4.5 times or a little over 4x what their mint price was. The Sandbox also had 2 land sales coming up, one on the 30th and one on November 4th. So this is big news, and you're seeing a lot of push here from the Sandbox. They just got Walking Dead, and there are a lot of big entities and important entities moving in to build out their metaverses within the Sandbox. What makes me super bullish on the Sandbox is their ability to attract outside investment and user-generated content and experiences. That is going to be the biggest driver of the most valuable metaverses, and in my opinion, I go back to this, Sandbox, their Sand token, and in general, the communities that are really taking root there are really a step ahead of any of the other quote-unquote metaverses we've seen of recent. We did see Facebook just announce their plan to start researching a metaverse. They're so far away, and I hate to say it, but they only put $50 million towards the endeavor, which in Facebook terms is bubkus, and there are plenty of other crypto companies with more resources, experience, and crypto-based community. So it's looking very good for the crypto metaverse communities that are ahead of the game here in 2021. Now, if you haven't been living under a rock, you probably saw the Bored Ape Yacht Club 2.0 roadmap. Now, it starts here and you can see it goes through this whole river is their roadmap. I thought this was actually a pretty creative way to do it. You can see it's a whole like treasure map where they get through, and the final thing is the DAO, the BAYC ecosystem, which is really interesting. But they mostly just have like little bits of detail here, and it says not listed here are collabs and partnerships and dope stuff they don't want to be front run on. I totally get that, and that's why I've been keeping zip-lipped about a lot of my own plans within the NFT industry, because there's so much copycatting and stuff. It's better just to do it, execute, and then let other people chase. And then so we see here the first annual Ape Fest. They're actually having, I guess, a festival for apes. I'll definitely be there if that's the case. We also have the Bored Ape Yacht Club plus MAYC, the Mutant Ape Yacht Club mobile competition. So they're going to have some game here. Really interesting. They have the trial of Jimmy the Monkey. I guess this is some kind of narrative thing that they're doing. I think this has something to do with some narrative-based storytelling, maybe some content. MD versus MMI, not sure what that is. MAYC, BAYC 3D models. This is huge because you'll actually get a full FBX 3D model to bring with you and upload into the metaverse. And now you're seeing that these actual characters are more than just JPEGs. They're actually going to be your identities in the metaverse. As the metaverse starts crossing over more and more, again, it shows you that owning owning these assets will be a huge status symbol going forward. We also have more of the MD versus MMI. Then we have the Sandbox Miami 2035 plus BAYC VX apes. And then we have the Miami Clubhouse IRL. They're actually having a physical clubhouse in Miami that you can get into with your ape. Crazy stuff. And then they have Redacted and the DAO ecosystem. So anyway, a massive update here from the apes. And is it any surprise that we've seen a little bit of excitement around the Bored Ape Yacht Club? We even saw a nice little spike up here. The Mutant Apes floor bumped up again. As I said before, this is a little bit of price suppression here as the whole ecosystem really deflated after this sale. But I believe mutants will be definitely the entry point for a lot of aspiring Bored Ape community members. I know I love my mutants. I'm still hodling them very hard. So keep your eyes on this space. And in my opinion, what we've seen is probably the lows have been put in for Mutant Ape Yacht Club. I'm definitely holding mine, expecting higher prices. You do what you want to do. Again, all NFTs are super duper risky. And I want to make it clear that if you're playing around in NFT land, that I will give you the exact strategy I use to make profits. And also what I think is probably like the most noob friendly strategy as well. So stay tuned to that part towards the end where I tell you like the strategy that you could use, especially if you're starting with a smaller stack and you're not doing what I'm doing, which is diamond handing for a long time. Because I think a lot of these have a massive next leg in them. And especially over the next coming years, the good assets will grow to be, in my opinion, astronomically expensive. Like I said in some prior episodes, we also had Anonymice did really well, dots, which I minted, Loot, which I'm down bad on, but I still believe that Loot and its derivatives are an important movement going on within the NFT space to keep your eyes on. And the thing about Anonymice is they actually have this on-chain staking reward, and all of these coins that have these on-chain staking reward, like Cheeth here, which is misspelled. But the thing is, they're mixing with DeFi. They're fully automated on-chain and immutable, which makes them really interesting assets, which sort of cannot be stopped here, like these yields. They don't even require front ends here, and most NFT heads know how to claim their rewards through the contract. So it's really interesting stuff here. Anyway, one of the interesting things about the Anonymice project was that it was a free mint with no commission and no royalties. So there was essentially no money made by the original project founders. Obviously, they probably minted some themselves. Then they also had this mechanism where you could burn your own mice and re-roll its traits, but it would remove that Anonymice permanently from circulation. So every time someone burned to try to get a rarer Anonymice, they would actually have one less Anonymice in circulation. So now something like 60+% of the Anonymice have been removed from circulation, and there's about 3,000 or so, and a lot of them are super rare because people kept burning to get rarer ones. But as you can see now, they have a passive staking reward. All of them have the same Cheeth per day. They're 100% on chain. There were 10,000, but not anymore. Anyway, this has a really strong diamond-handed community, and that's why I really liked it. So really what you want to find out here is the next Anonymice, because there are literally projects where if you are doing your work and finding the alpha, you can mint for free, just pay gas, and then you can actually, in this case, roll and re-roll for like $30, just pay gas again, and end up with something super rare. So as you can see here, Anonymice now with a 3.7 ETH floor, and this was, I think when I found it, like 0.8. Again, this thing just absolutely rocketed, and this was a free mint. So again, NFTs aren't just for the ultra wealthy here. It really pays to be doing your research and to have a somewhat resilient attitude here, because you will have losers, especially if you're jumping into fresh mints, and you will have winners. But it's important that you stay resilient and know that the next Anonymice can actually be yours. You can also stake these, and so out of the 3550 mice, 92.5% is staked and increasing. Breeding will time lock 2 mice, can't be sold and won't earn Cheeth. Only 138 for sale. So you can see only 138 out of the 3550. This is a super diamond-handed community, and they also have this really interesting time lock mechanism on breeding. So if you breed them, then they can't be sold and they can't earn for a period of time. And so even though OpenSea shows 10K mice, the reality is that 6450 have been burned. Really bullish. And as you can see here, it did hit a 4 ETH floor at some point. It has come down a little bit. Again, we'll see if it keeps dipping. I think it's probably a buy the dip type scenario. Not financial advice, and I know 4 ETH is already too expensive for most people, but I just wanted to cover the actual collections I think are interesting here. We also have the Avagachi ecosystem having some news here. They have a new grant program for game ecosystem developers. The grants are from 500 DAI here and will be funded by Pixelcraft Studio. I'm not sure, I think this is a typo here. Anyway, from 500 to 5,000 DAI, yeah, that makes sense. and matched by Polygon Studios. So this is Polygon's investment arm, and as well as Ivan on Tech's Morales company. So you can get a little bit of development money here. Obviously, Ivan on Tech's company Morales actually is a phenomenal resource for dApps looking to integrate NFTs. Half the grant will be rewarded up front, and the second half will be contingent on the completion of various milestones. So you got to deliver here. And again, you see Facebook coming in with their $50 million investment fund, trying to develop their virtual metaverse. I bet this will take a very long time before we see anything from this, but it's worth understanding that Epic Games and Facebook and these types of companies will definitely be pushing forward to try to have their own contributions to this metaverse world. And that's what makes all of these assets even more valuable, because you better believe those hyped original Ethereum NFTs, those JPEGs, are going to be the things that people covet the most in those future metaverses. These are like the mansions that are impossible to get your hands on, the super desirable assets, the Lambos, the Ferraris, etc. We also see a cryptic tweet here from Stanny over at Aave saying it's all coming together with a Venn diagram of DeFi, NFTs, and social. And we know that he's working on a social network here. Very interested to see what comes next. Clearly, he's going to be throwing his hat into the NFT ring. Very interesting stuff. Now, finally, I wanted to go over some projects that I've just invested into and tell you two ways to approach this market. First of all, if you've got a big enough stack and you can stomach it, I think diamond handing really good projects that come out like Anonymice. I am not going to sell my Anonymice. I'm not going to sell my Subducks. I'm not going to sell my Cool Cats just yet because I see them going the way of Bored Apes. Just like I haven't sold my Bored Apes because I saw them going the way of CryptoPunks, if not eventually higher, because look at this crazy roadmap. I don't see any roadmap for CryptoPunks. So the mentality is, if you can afford to do it, getting into good projects, obviously as early and cheaply as possible, and then holding them until they go the way of some blue chips. And of course, knowing that you might miss out on some flips along the way. For example, right now my Cool Cats are at like 50x or something of when I got into them. However, selling them right now, I still think is foolish because I think they're going to double or triple or quadruple again over time. Now, you could argue that my money's better spent by selling those and reinvesting into new mints. But again, I do believe that we're going to hit an inflection point where big money is going to pour into the top 1% of assets. And so I'm kind of wanting to hold on to my blue chips as long as I can, because I think they'll get targeted by big investment funds that just want to invest in something that's more for sure. So they're going to go after the punks, they're going to go after the apes, and then going down the list, you have Kongs and cats and ducks. But then it starts to be a little bit uncertain what comes next. So understanding that being in the absolute top assets is one way to think about how to optimize for that mainstream adoption push for NFTs. Now, if I had a smaller stack and I was looking at NFTs as the opportunity to really turn a small amount of money into a big amount of money, then you can't just be sitting stuck in one asset. And so obviously getting early to the next big thing, getting early to the sub 0.1 ETH floor prices, and then waiting for them to get up to like an ETH and then selling, that's a really good strategy as well. So one that we covered that I picked up a bunch around 0.1 to 0.2 was Monster Buds. This actually went up as high as like 0.7, I think. And now it's coming down a little bit, but they're starting to introduce, as you can see, fully realized buds, and they'll have breeding soon as well. So again, I'm holding on to my Monster Buds. I really like this project. I really like the art, and yeah, I'm just going to be holding on to them. But obviously, if you got in at 0.1 and then this thing went up to 0.7, that's a decent amount to flip. Even here at 0.53, it's holding above a 5x or so. So that's something that you would want to consider if you had a smaller stack, taking some profits and reallocating. Again, I'm not selling my Monster Buds. I want to see where it goes. It's got an interesting breeding mechanic, and it's from a known artist. So I'm going to keep holding on to those. Now, here's a project that, to be quite honest, kind of annoyed me, because as you can see, if you're familiar with the World of Women project, it's pretty much the exact same art. In fact, I've heard it was the exact same artist actually, but there's this project Boss Beauties that, according to some people, have a better team or whatever. And so people are kind of looking at this as like the knockoff World of Women, but people are still kind of bullish on it and think that it might have some potential. I think of this as kind of like a Pepsi to World of Women's Coca-Cola. I personally only have one, just to say I did. I personally don't like how it's just a direct copy of the art, but again, this is one to have on your radar. Now, the thing that I just bought quite a bit of is this Spirit Orb Pets V0. This is like a Tamagotchi evolving project with a token Care that will be dropped, and you will, I think, maintain your Spirit Orb pet kind of like you would a Tamagotchi here. They also have V1 coming. V0 only has 777 777 items, and the floor price is now 1. When I started buying a few hours ago, I think it was like 0.8 or 0.7 or something like that. Regardless, this one has quite a bit of hype around it. It's only got 777 items. Bear in mind, a lot of collections have multi-thousand, up to 10,000 is kind of the standard. So 777 is very low here. Again, I'm not sure what the floor price is going to be, but as you can see, there's been a lot of trading over the last hour. Many have gotten sold, and you see them selling for well above in Ethereum, as well as the floor price getting swept up here. So if you're looking for something hot off the presses, again, Spirit or Pets has gone up a lot. So there's plenty of downside risk as well, but it wouldn't surprise me. Whoa, did this thing just jump to 1.78? Okay, so here's a good example. While I was filming this video, the floor price went from 1 to 1.78. Again, I don't know where this is gonna resolve, but it just shows you that when you identify a good project, I heard about this for the first time in the Wall Street Kongs Discord. This thing just jumped literally to double what I bought it for. And it looks like here the floor between 1.78 and 2 ETH is just, it looks like it's only 7 NFTs here to hit a 2 ETH floor. And you see how quickly this stuff happens. Literally while I was setting up and filming this over the last 20 minutes or so, we've seen a jump of almost 2x here. So keep in mind, this could go down just as fast as it came up. But I just want to point out that I'm trying to give you guys this stuff right as it's happening. Sometimes it's not so easy. Again, this video is going out tomorrow, so God knows what could happen in between now and then. Know that all of these new projects are ultra risky, top 1% of risk, top 1% of reward. So please understand that there are huge risks here and act accordingly. And finally, the next project that I just aped into pretty significantly is Bears Deluxe. Now, Bears Deluxe, it was about 0.2 when I started buying or something like that. It's now up to about 0.33. They have 6,900 bears, and your bears will start earning honey. I see a bunch of people that are bullish on this one. Again, Bears Deluxe just got started here, but you see it's almost up to 1,000 ETH traded, 6,900 items here, 0.33 floor price, and these are supposed to earn a honey token. There are a lot of them that are getting snatched up, and people are wanting to collect that yield. So I think what happens here is a lot of these yield tokens will go to zero. So it's really important to see which projects have people that are just farming and dumping their yield, and what happens to those token values. Like the CyberKongz token Banana has actually been really bullish, and it's been holding and growing in the 40s. When I first found the project, the Banana token was like under 15 bucks or like closer to 10 bucks. Now it's 4x. And so people are holding and people are bullish on the Kongs because that yield seems to be stable. Now, if projects promising yield like Bears Deluxe actually have that yield token hold and grow in value, that's super bullish. If that token drops in value, then people are going to start dumping these. So just know the risk kind of cuts both ways. But this is the next hot little NFT project that has a DeFi element on the market. So there you have it. Another NF Tuesday, this time coming to you a day late, but hey, we're here to give you the absolute best information in the space. And that includes everything from the projects that I've worked before, dissecting them, helping giving you strategies, as well as identifying the newest next projects that are worth aping into. Again, this stuff is ultra high risk, and you need to be aware that you could be left totally stranded holding the bag. And unlike altcoins where you can actually market sell them just at a loss, most NFTs, when they become illiquid, you can't even sell at all. So it's literally, you will be left with zero if you make the wrong decisions here. And I can't promise you that any of these will or won't go up. I'm just trying to share with you the information I've learned and inform you on why I made the decisions to buy when I did. Now, if that's of value to you, we're gonna start making NF Tuesday an everyday thing. My goal is to bring you the best NFT content on a daily basis. And in my opinion, the asymmetric reward is actually way better in NFTs right now than in other parts of the market. So if you wanna get the absolute first scoop on NFT Alpha, make sure you subscribe with that bell notification on, and I'll make sure you're aware whenever I put out new videos. You'll be the first people to know. No one is bringing you this level of new NFT content. So make sure you subscribe with that bell notification on. As always, I thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Elio Trades. You can find me on Twitter at Elio Trades, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.